Welcome back to iSax tip number 6. Now, in the previous iSax tip number 5, we looked at how we can recall and save our user scenes. Now, there's also a collection of sounds that Roland call favorites, and people get confused with this. Let me help you. So what are favorites? If you remember in the last video that we looked at, we said that we had a whole collection of preset sounds. These are ones that come from the factory. We can't actually delete those. They're burnt into the memory. You can edit those sounds and save them as user sounds. If you want to check how you do that, check out the previous iSax tip number 5. Favorite sounds are something slightly different. We don't actually have another bank of sounds called favorites. That's not how it works. Favorites is simply a list of 12 shortcuts that take you directly to either a preset scene or a user scene that you've already saved. Let's look then firstly at how we can save one of our favorite shortcuts. Obviously, we need to select a sound first, and then we're going to press and hold the menu key. So here I've selected the Jupiter AP sound. This is one of the sounds that I wrote for the Aerophone. And then I'm going to press and hold the menu key. Now, if you remember last time when we were saving a user sound, we pressed the left arrow. But you probably guessed it, this time we need to press the right arrow to select one of our favorite shortcuts. Now at this point, we've got 12 different shortcuts that we can choose, okay? And we can do this in one of two ways. We can either use the arrow keys to navigate through our shortcuts, or we can in fact just turn the category dial between 1 and 12 and select our shortcut position that way. So I can either use my arrows, or I can turn the category dial and select my shortcuts that way. Now, just for this video, I'm going to select the 12th shortcut position. Notice I'm using the word shortcut. We shouldn't think of favorites as being a memory position, because it's not. They are just a shortcut. I'll show you why that's important in a moment. So I've selected position 12 for my shortcut. You've probably guessed by now, we have to press menu. And just as we've had before, we can either select to write yes, or no, we don't want to write it, no. Well, I want to write it, so I'm going to press yes, executing, and it's complete. I've saved my shortcut. Great, done it. But how do I get back to that sound if I want to? This is a great time for me to ask you to remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. And please give me a thumbs up. And a reminder that if you enjoy tutorials like this, this is exactly the sort of thing we look at in the iSax.Academy online Aerophone courses. We've got Aerophone Basics. This is going to teach you all the notes on the Aerophone. So if you're a complete beginner, or if you're a bit rusty from having played something like the saxophone previously, then this would be a great course for you. We have a very similar course for the Aerophone Mini. And if you're a more experienced player, but you really need to find out exactly how this Aerophone works, this is for the AE20 and AE30, then go check out the Advanced Aerophone course. Okay, now how about recalling one of our favorite scenes? And this seems to be where some people are getting pretty confused, but actually for a very good reason. I'll show you. So where are our favorite scenes? Well, as I've said a couple of times in this video already, our favorite scenes are just a shortcut to either a preset sound or a user sound. They don't exist in a separate bit of memory somewhere. We can access them pretty easily, actually. All we have to do is press and hold the scene up arrow. And then if we rotate the scene category dial, we can select our favorite scene. Let's have a look. I'm going to press and hold the up arrow here and rotate the scene category dial. Remember, I saved my Jupiter to the 12th favorite position. There it is, Jupiter AP. I'm straight on to that sound, the favorite sound that I've saved. Now, because we have actually used, if you like, a shortcut to get to that sound, I can now use my scene up and down arrows to go through that scene list if I want to. So this is our preset sounds or our user sounds. So the favorites has just taken as a shortcut directly to one of the positions within our long list of user and preset sounds. And then from there, we can still step up and down throughout our different scenes. So this could be really useful because you might have a set of scenes you want to use for a gig or something. And then if you want to, say, have a set list of user sounds, you could use your favorites as a shortcut to get to that set list if you want to. There are all sorts of possibilities. It works really well. Now, here's where people are getting a little bit confused with this, because by default, our favorites are assigned to the first scene in each one of the preset banks. So some people are reading in the manual, oh, I can get to my favorites by holding down the up arrow and selecting the category dial. So they're holding down the up arrow and they're doing the category dial. Now, unfortunately, what people are doing is they're saying, okay, well, it doesn't say favorites at the top in the menu here. It doesn't say a favorite. Where are my favorites? And all these default sounds here are just the first scene in each category bank. So they feel like it's not working. They're changing the category, but they're not getting to their favorites. The menu does not display the word favorite. Remember, favorites is just a shortcut to either a user scene or a preset scene. That's why it doesn't say favorites up here at the top. Remember, these things are all done to give us the widest range of options that we can. So whilst as a newbie to the Aerophone, you might think, whoa, they could have made this a little bit easier. For those people that want to go a little bit further and have much more flexibility with the way we set up our Aerophone, then this is when this sort of thing can become really very useful. I hope that's cleared up some confusion, and I hope you've learned something about your Aerophone. Go enjoy yourself, set up some favourite scenes, see how it works. See you in the next one.